So over the last few months, JBL has been very busy updating a lot of their speakers, but most recently they put out the JBL Grip, which is a completely new line of speakers for them, but it's actually very similar to the JBL Flip 5. But I still think the JBL Grip is very weird in JBL's current lineup of speakers. Nonetheless, today we're going to compare the JBL Grip to the JBL Flip 7 and the JBL Charge 6. Let's see which one's right for you. Regarding pricing, both the JBL Flip 7 and JBL Charge 6 have been hit by inflation because the Flip 7 retails for $150 and the Charge 6 retails for $200, which I do feel is a lot for a small and medium-sized speaker. So I feel that the JBL Grip came as a response to inflation because this speaker retails for $100, which is what the Flip series used to retail for. Nonetheless, if you want to pick any of these speakers up, they'll be linked down below, or you can always press on the YouTube shopping button. And if you want to further support the channel, then you can always watch some of the related videos in the description down below. So first, there's the design of these speakers. Now, all of these speakers are super durable thanks to their fabric wrap bodies, so bumps and scrapes are not going to be an issue for any of these speakers, and all of these speakers are waterproof, making them great options for the pool or beach. However, I do want to point out that with all of these speakers, their USB-C ports are exposed. So before you can actually charge them back up, you do have to wait for them to dry off, or else you're just going to get a notification that the USB-C port is still wet. Now, regarding size, the JBL Charge 6 is a mid-size speaker and the Flip 7 is a small-size speaker. So obviously the Flip 7 is going to be a little easier to take on the go with you than the Charge 6. But then there's the Grip, which is just a little smaller than the Flip 7, but I don't think that it's any easier to carry around than the Flip 7. And I would actually argue that the Grip is less convenient and less versatile than the Flip 7 and Charge 6, because even though the Grip does have a built-in loop, it's very small and it's not elastic. So your options are very limited as to what you can attach the speaker to. Whereas with the Flip 7, first off, its loop is a little larger, but also you can swap it out for an included carabiner. So the Flip 7 is more versatile than the Grip. And then there's the Charge 6, which just has a full-on carrying handle, which also has a second position. And for me, I am making a big deal on the loop on the Grip because it's not even as versatile as the loop found on the Go 4, which is a little larger and it's also a little elastic, and it's certainly not as versatile as the built-in carabiner found on the Clip 5. Now, one feature that the Grip does have over both the Flip 7 and the Charge 6 is that it does have a built-in light feature. But this light feature is on the back, it's not color changing, and it doesn't even flash to the beat of your music. Honestly, I feel that this light feature is pointless, and this is the second time in a row where JBL adds a pointless light feature to their speakers because they just did it to the Boombox 4 as well. So personally, I just use the Grip with this light feature turned off because I feel that it's not worth it. Regarding battery life, the Grip has an advertised battery life of 12 hours, the Flip 7 has an advertised battery life of 14 hours, and the Charge 6 has an advertised battery life of 24 hours. But with all of these speakers, you'll be able to extend their battery lives by around 2 hours if you were to use them with their Playtime Boost feature turned on, but that is also going to severely reduce your bass. But real-world use with all of these speakers playing at 80% volume, the Grip is good for around 6 hours of playback time, the Flip 7 is good for around 8 hours of playback time, and the Charge 6 is good for around 10 hours of playback time. And obviously, the larger the speaker, the louder 80% volume is going to sound. And like I mentioned earlier, all of these speakers charge via a USB-C port as they should, but these USB-C ports are a little different from one another. Now, with the Flip 7, you can use its USB-C port as a wired connection with your phone, and with the Charge 6, you can use its USB-C port both as a wired connection with your phone, and you can also use it to charge your own devices, making it super versatile. Whereas with the Grip, you can't do any of this. And when it comes to Bluetooth connectivity, all of these speakers can be connected to 2 devices at the same time, so you and a friend can both be DJ. Latency is not an issue for any of these speakers, so you can use them to watch videos with on your phone. And when it comes to audio codecs, all of these speakers have support for SPC and AAC, which is the standard for JBL these days. But wait, if you're actually going to charge all of this stuff, then check out our partners over at Anker. They've got a ton of battery banks and chargers. And personally, I've been using this new 7-in-1 charging station from Anker. Now, personally, I really like this charging base because it has two built-in USB-C cables which retract, and you can use them to either charge small devices like your earbuds, or you can even use them to charge your larger devices like your iPad or MacBook. There's an additional USB-C port, so you can plug in an additional cable, and there's also a USB-A port if you've got any older devices that are using a USB-A cable. Plus, on the back, you've got an additional three-prong AC ports, so you can plug in any of your other devices, and this base also has a built-in screen, so you can see how much power it's putting out. You can also see how much power each device is taking, and you can even get temp readouts just to be safe. Honestly, this charging base does save me a lot of clutter here in the studio because I have a lot of devices that just constantly need to be charged. So if you want to pick this charging base up, it'll be linked down below, or you can always press on the YouTube shopping button. And I'm also going to keep a coupon code in the pinned comment down below so that I can get you an extra discount. But with all that out of the way, let's talk about sound. When it comes to speaker setup, the Grip has a single front-firing driver and dual passive radiators that shoot out the sides. And this is actually a very similar speaker setup to the JBL Flip 5. Whereas with both the Flip 7 and the Charge 6, both of these speakers have a front-firing driver, a front-firing tweeter, and dual passive radiators that shoot out the sides, except on the Charge 6 it is a little larger. And the driver and tweeter setup on both the Flip 7 and Charge 6 are a big deal because this helps the speakers sound more open and have better instrument separation because the driver handles the mids and the tweeter handles the highs like this. So like we have just seen, the driver handles the mids and the tweeter handles the highs, and this helps with overall instrument separation and it helps the speakers sound more open. And this is a speaker setup that you expect to see on your more premium speakers now. But now we're just going to go ahead and jump into the sound test. All of these speakers are playing at 75% volume with their stock EQs.
The horizon pulls me closer, a whisper in the wind. The map is blank before me. Where do I begin? The fear of what's uncertain. The unknown feels like home. With every step I'm finding a place I've never known. Let's go where no one has ever been. A world unseen beneath our skin. Through endless skies. Break the chain. Uncharted lands will claim them all. Rise like tides and let it fall. Just endlessly. Come drift with me. Come drift with me. Through endless skies, we'll break the chain. Uncharted lands will claim them all. Rise like tides and let it fall. Just endless seas. Come drift with me. Come drift with me. Come drift with me. Come drift with me. And come drift with me.
So first, we need to talk about max volume performance. Obviously, the larger the speaker, the louder it is going to get. So obviously, the Charge 6 gets louder than the Flip 7, and the Flip 7 gets louder than the Grip. Now, I feel that the Grip is good for like a 4-person get-together, and it's good for the shower, and it's a good option if you're looking for something to use while you're riding your bike. I feel that the Flip 7 is good for like a group of 8 people, and the Charge 6 is good for like a group of 12 people. But when it comes to sound quality, these speakers are a little different. Since the Grip just doesn't have that additional tweeter like these other two speakers, the highs aren't as pronounced and the instrument separation isn't as good. So the Grip does lean towards a little towards the warmer side. Whereas with these other two speakers, since they do have that extra tweeter, they do lean a little towards the brighter side because the highs are a little more emphasized. Nonetheless, all of these speakers sound good, but with the Grip, you are going to get less performance and less instrument separation because this speaker is smaller and it just lacks that additional tweeter. A more apples to apples comparison would be the Grip to the Clip 5. The Grip sounds similar to the Clip 5, except the Grip does get a little louder. But finally, let's talk about pairing these speakers up with other speakers. Now, with all of these speakers, if you have two of the exact same speakers, then you can wisely pair them up and get them to play in left and right stereo mode. However, they do have to be two of the exact same speakers. Now, all of these speakers are also using Auracast, so you can pair them up to other Auracast speakers, like let's say the Boombox 4, Charge 6, Flip 7, Grip, Clip 5, or Go 4, and get them to all play in sync. Or you can also pair them up to any of JBL's larger party boxes that are also using Auracast, like a Party Box Encore 2, or a Party Box 120, 325, 2720, or 2 and Ultimate, and you can get them to all play in sync as well. However, you cannot pair any of these speakers up to JBL's older speakers that are using Party Boost, like either a Boombox 3, a Boombox 2, an Extreme 3, a Charge 5, a Pulse 5, a Pulse 4, a Flip 5, or to a Flip 6. Only the Extreme 4 is able to connect to both Auracast speakers and Party Boost speakers. Nonetheless, if you are planning on growing your collection of speakers, then any of these speakers are good options, but if you do have an older Party Boost speakers, you won't be able to connect your new Auracast speaker up to your older Party Boost speaker. But with all that being said, the JBL Grip performs well, but for me it is hard to justify the JBL Grip. I feel that you're better off just saving and getting the Flip 7 because you are going to get more sound and better instrument separation, plus you're going to get more battery life. Or if you can't get the Flip 7 because you need something more affordable, just might as well get yourself a Clip 5 because it performs almost as well as the Grip, but it's smaller, more versatile, and more affordable. And finally, there's the JBL Charge 6. Obviously, this speaker is a big upgrade over the Grip that is worth it. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit the like button and get subscribed. If you want to pick any of the products up, they'll be linked down below. And if you want to further support the channel, check out the merch. I made some shirts and hoodies that look and feel great. And you know I can be very particular, so I'll only slap my name on something if I'm really proud of it.